Okay, so we're going to move on to chapter 3.4, and you'll notice in this chapter that it is very similar to chapter 3.2, where we made the fractions with sine, cos, and tan. So finding the angle. What I want you to notice is that these first three steps are the exact same as chapter 3.2. We'll start by labeling the sides of our triangle. And I'm going to do that by drawing an arrow through the right angle, and that will be my hypotenuse. The angle connects with the adjacent, and the only side left over is my opposite. So now that I have labeled the sides of my triangle, I'm going to choose sine, cos, tan fraction on the formula sheet. So to do that, I have to circle the sides with numbers. So my opposite is 76, and my adjacent is 57. So I'm looking for opposite and adjacent over here, and I can see that tan A is opposite over adjacent. So tan A equals 76 over 57. Now the next step is to inverse both sides. So we're going to use the -1. So what I do in this one is I'm going to write out my step again. Tan A equals 76 over 57. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put brackets around it all. And then I'm going to put tan -1 on both ends. Now notice why I chose tan -1, because this was my tan. So at this point, the tan -1 and the tan cross each other out. So then I'm left with A, which is my angle, equals 76 over 57 tan -1. So what you'll do is you'll get your calculator out, and you're going to divide 76 divided by 57, and you'll hit equals. Now, of course, you need to make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. And at this point, you're going to have to hit shift or second so that you can see the tan -1. And then you'll notice my answer is 53. So that means that my angle is 53 degrees. Let's try another. So as you recall, the very first step that we need to do is label the triangle. Here's my hypotenuse, and the angle touches the adjacent, and this is my opposite. Now the second step is I will circle the sides with numbers, and I've got my opposite and adjacent. So it looks like I'm actually going with tan again. So in this one, my opposite is going to be 8, and my adjacent is going to be 20. And if you remember, I'll write it out again. and then I have to do the tan minus 1 to both sides. From here, the tans cross out, so I only have the A. And then on this side, I'm going to have to go 8 divided by 20 equals, and then I will have to hit second and then the tan minus 1. So it looks like it's 21.8, and this is very close to 22. So we're going to say 22 degrees. All right, for this one, I would like you to label your triangle and then choose which fraction we're going to use. So go ahead and pause the video and do those 2 steps. Okay. So I'll draw an arrow through the right angle, and this will be my hypotenuse. The angle also touches the adjacent, and the last one is the opposite. So it looks like the 2 sides that I have are my adjacent and my hypotenuse. Which is cos. So I'm going to write out my adjacent, which is 21, and my hypotenuse, which is 75. And now, I would like you to go cos minus 1 on both sides. So go ahead and pause the video and cos minus 1 on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to cos minus 1 over there and cos minus 1 over here. Those 2 cross out, and then I only have 21 over 75 cos minus 1 left. So I'll go 21 divided by 75 equals, and then shift cos minus 1. And you'll notice that this is 73.7, which is very close to 74. So my angle equals 74 degrees. Alright, so let's just try one more. I'll start by labeling the triangle. And then by circling the sides with numbers. Then I'm going to look for which fraction I have. So I have adjacent and hypotenuse. So again, I'm looking for cos A. And my adjacent is 52 over 56. So at this point, I would like you to try to do the next 2 steps. You are going to have to cos minus 1 both sides, and then punch it into your calculator. Okay, so what you would have done is cos minus 1 both sides. Those cancel out. And I'm left with 52 over 56. So at this point, I'll go into my calculator. 52 divided by 56 equals, and cos minus 1. So 21.7 degrees is very close to 22 degrees. Alright, so I want you to complete chapter 3.4 homework, and a little piece of special information that 3 questions on the chapter quiz will be similar to the homework questions.